First, just the victory. I'm sorry. Yeah. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. You know, this was a tremendous, victory for Republicans across the state, and really was a message that we want Michigan to move forward. We're not going back. We're not turning the clock back. Rather, we made great progress. Michigan is a stronger, safer state today than it was 4 years ago, and voters made a decision. Let's go forward. Let's not go back.
And talk about, the negative campaign against Mark Totten. I mean, this is a guy that, for all practical purposes, ran a negative campaign against you. What do you have to say about that?
I think people are sick and tired of the negative and, throwing mud this way and the other. And I think people want a discussion on issues. And, I was hired to provide solutions and solve problems and to make things better. And this is a campaign for me of listening to voices. When you listen to someone like Leslie King, who was a victim of human trafficking, it just underscores the significance of the Michigan Commission on Human Trafficking. And when you listen to the voices of cops, like George Braxton, Royce Hill, Greg Trocaz. These are real cops, real people who worked hard in a tough city, and their pensions were going to go up in smoke. All they wanted was someone to help them. They defended us, and so I defended them and their pensions. And so, being a voice for the Constitution, being a voice for victims, I think people get it.
Attorney General, we are live on Channel 7 on TV 20 Detroit. A lot of noise about those rape kits, including by our investigators. What did we learn, and what changes are ahead with regards to those?
I think this is an example of bipartisanship. I think people, again, want to solve problems. And the fact that there were, thousands and thousands of rape kits sitting on a shelf in a warehouse, never being examined, meant that women were violated twice. Once by a horrific attack, and then secondly, that the crime was never investigated, which is just outrageous. Well, not anymore, not on my watch, not on the Snyder-Schuette watch. That's not happening, and not on the Snyder-Schuette-Kim Worthy watch. It was about bipartisanship. And so, working with Kim, we're going to get these DNA kits examined, and secondly, a second phase of money, another $3 million, so that we'll add prosecutors to get this down, and also provide justice for women who've been violated. So we're going to be very direct, making sure that we provide justice for women who've been raped.
And Attorney General, talk about moving Detroit forward in terms of fighting crime. How do you plan to do that?
Well, I think everybody knows there can't be a complete economic recovery in Detroit or in Michigan unless we have a complete commitment to public safety. And people want safe streets, safe neighborhoods. They want schools that are places of learning, not violence. And so, you go to the Constitution. Article 1, Section 1 talks about the creation of government for the safety of people and protection. And so it is really an important ingredient. And I'm going to be working with, we have an outstanding chief with James Craig, and working with Kim Worthy, the prosecutor, and doing everything we can to put more prosecutors to get, work down the caseload and provide safety for people here in Detroit.
You mentioned the Snyder-Schuette watch. Now that the race is over, and his race was a lot closer than expected, how do you bring people together? How do you bridge that gap and move forward?
Well, I think every race in Michigan, we're a purple state. We're not one of these red or blue things. That's all that analysis is kind of silly. But we're a state where you have to earn it every day. And so we have competitive races in Michigan. So we had a discussion. People did their homework. They made a decision. And now it's time to move forward. And that means in a positive way. And it's all about working together. It's all about solving problems. And it's all about let's have solutions. And I'm convinced that what people need to do, it's not on, it's about the power of your argument. It's the depth of your persuasion, and how strong is your discussion. Not the shrillness of your voice or being negative or throwing mud. It's about, okay, let's solve problems. I think that's the direction Detroit and Michigan needs to go.
And Attorney General, what's next for your next term? I know you kind of alluded to a little bit. We're still live on the air on TV 20 Detroit. What can you tell us about your forward thinking in your next term?
Well, number one, the Commission on Human Trafficking had a series of recommendations that it's all victim-centered, to provide assistance to young women. And what we did there was a sea change, where young women who are forced to have sex are treated now as victims, not criminals. And so that's really the focus of this victim-centered effort. So make sure we implement the recommendations on the Commission on Human Trafficking. Number two, the School Safety Initiative. I was at the University Prep a couple of weeks ago, and every mom, every dad, when they take their child to the bus stop or they walk them, or when they're older, when they look out the window and see their child maybe driving to high school. The safety of your children is number one. And so okay to say, Michigan's school safety initiative, having that fully implemented and rolled out into schools, that's a second priority. And then thirdly, these the DNA evidence boxes, these sexual assault kits. We need to make sure that we are continuing to provide justice for the women who have been violated. And there's so many people helping, but there's still too many occasions and victims of sexual assault. So that's a key responsibility.
And Attorney General, one last question. A run for governor in 2018?
Oh, it is November 5th. I'm focused on finishing 2014, and we're going to finish strong, and then move into 2015. We're working on these, working on the sexual assault kits and more prosecutors here in Detroit, and working on the school safety initiative. So I'm focused on, end of 14, 15, and 16, and I'm not worried about the future.
Not worried about the future, but so many people are. One last message to those voters that went out last night.
I think the message here is that we want Michigan to move forward, and it's about solving problems. It's about providing solutions, and that's the direction people in Michigan chose last night's, I think, historic elections.
Great deal. Thanks for joining us live here on TV 20 Detroit. Attorney General Bill Schuette, you heard from him right here on TV 20 Detroit, carrying him live this morning. And you know what? He said it his best. Go forward thinking, and that's what he's planning on doing. He's not thinking about an election for governor for 2018 just yet, but we'll stick on him and see if he changes his mind and what he tells us. But we're live this morning inside the motor lobby of the Detroit Renaissance Center. I'm Nima Shafee. Back to you guys.